Excuse me. Thank you, Pete. Um, I just called in my office, I just called the Westfield Zoning Board of Appeals meeting to order for January 5th, 2022. I am Chairperson Kick Sullivan. I'm not sure what other board members I have here this evening. Do I have Christine, Sophia, or Jen here?
I'm here, Kick.
Okay. Just not. Perfect. Is this Jen? Are you just joining the meeting?
Hi there.
There we go, Jen. Perfect. All right, so I'll start the meeting. Again, I introduced myself, once muted, once unmuted. I'm Chairperson Kick Sullivan. Christine, if you could introduce yourself for the record, please.
Sure, I'm member Christine Webster.
And Jennifer, please.
I'm a member, Jennifer Gilbert.
Okay, so we have three members here this evening, so we can conduct the one public hearing we have on the agenda. I believe Sophia may have been conflicted on either the public hearing or something else we were reviewing this evening. So we're going to proceed with just three members. On the agenda this evening, we have the public hearing for Bayberry Lane. We have a request for an extension for dimensional special permit for 25 Tiffany Circle, a request for an extension for 85 Mechanic Street. And I believe we have one petition to accept. Is that correct, Jay? Yes. Okay.
Yes.
So we're going to take them in that order. So if the petitioners for 25 Tiffany Circle or 85 Mechanic are here, you can step aside or get something to drink, and we'll be with you shortly. But we're going to start with the public hearing. That is for Samuel Shakov's appealing denial of a zoning permit for house construction at Bayberry Lane, parcels 46R-59 and 60, zoned rural residential. If the petitioner could state their name for the record and then fill us in on the petition, we've reviewed it. We'll have, we're going to present it formally. We'll ask some questions, depending on how that goes. We'll definitely open up the floor tonight, or open up whatever letters were sent to us. We may need to, do further investigation, depending on how the public hearing goes. If we're able to, we may close the public hearing and deliberate, or we may postpone it to the next meeting, depending on how everything goes. So with that said, if the petitioner could state their name for the record and then formally address the petition for us. So anybody here for the petitioner for Bayberry Lane? Is the petitioner here?
So I do see Mr. Shokov on the screen. There he is. And I will say, I understand this may have been resolved already with the building inspector, but I'll let you.
Okay, sure. So I'll let the petitioner, I guess, fill us in. If it's been resolved, maybe we can make this brief. If not, we'll ask some further questions. So I guess give us an update first, if you've had any further conversations with the building department, and then we'll jump into the petition. If Mr. Shokov could state his name for the record, and then proceed accordingly. I think, Mr. Shokov, I think you might be muted. There you go.
Hello,
Yep.
I'm here about regarding the 85 Mechanic Street.
Right. So we're not on that one right now. Right now we're on Bayberry Lane. That's the public hearing. And then we're going to take 25 Tiffany Circle and then 85 Mechanic Street in that order as they appear on the agenda. So hold tight. If the petitioner for Bayberry Lane, Mr. Dravinsky had said that the petitioner, Mr. Shokov, was here. If they could state their name for the record, and then again, provide us with a brief update if there's been any correspondence or discussions with the building department, and then we'll address the petition if we need to.
Can you hear me? This is Samuel Shokov.
Yes, Samuel, we can.
So my attorney resolved the issue with the building inspector. He did prove that the law is grandfathered, and she understood everything, and she did. I did meet with her today, and she said that everything is resolved.
Okay, so I guess what would be in your best interest would be to withdraw without prejudice, because you don't need any relief. So we're drawing out prejudice, basically just kind of take back. Is that what you're looking to do, is just to withdraw the appeal this evening?
Yes, that works.
Okay, I will make a motion, I guess.
I can just, I mean. so
Do we need it?
Yeah,
Go.
technically the denial will stand if it's withdrawn. I mean, it doesn't mean too much as a zoning permit because it's not a building permit, but.
Okay, so would your suggestion
little
be
awkward.
to proceed, or
Well, I mean, it's up to the board, but he has a denial. If he withdraws, that denial stays a denial, even if the building inspector will subsequently issue a building permit or it's been resolved. I haven't seen anything in writing, but that's my understanding. So,
should we postpone it then potentially and let his attorney maybe submit something formally, or Carissa to send something to us to approve? I wouldn't
well, I
want.
mean, I guess what's before you is this specific denial. So you can dispose of that one way or another.
And just disposing of the denial would, which it sounds like it's already been done. It obviously doesn't issue any permits. It just allows him to proceed with.
Yeah.
Can I just interject here for a minute?
Please, Christine, because I'm confused.
Guys, sorry, it's Christine. We wouldn't, I think Kick's right, that we would just extend because wait, it sounds like the building inspector is going to issue the actual permit. She's going to issue the actual building permit. So I think that basically that action would supersede his denial from her. So he should just wait till he has the permit in hand and then he can withdraw this petition. Right, Jay? Because there's no set point in us having a big public hearing on something that we don't even have, that's a moot point. She's giving him his building permit. He was appealing her denial, but now it sounds like she's going to go back and issue the building permit. So do you know what I'm saying? So why wouldn't we could just roll this over. And if she doesn't then his appeal would stand.
Right. I mean, it's up to the board, and he doesn't have a building permit denial. He has a zoning permit denial, which really doesn't mean too much, but
I guess what I would be inclined to, I mean, so hypothetically, if we extended this and then didn't rule on it, then the denial would just prevail, correct, Jay?
no,
No, then that would mean
it would be a constructive overturn of it.
Right. So
Right.
I think we're the best. It doesn't make sense to me to have a public hearing on an issue that's already been resolved. I would suggest we continue it and either allow Carissa or his attorney to send us something to approve. Because I also don't want to override. I mean, it sounds like she's going to issue the permit. I don't know under what conditions or etc. So I guess if she was going to send us her findings, we could just approve that. With that, in my opinion, that would just be the easiest plan of action rather than conducting an actual hearing on this.
Yeah, I mean, it's been
Yeah.
noted, so neighbors are notified, so it's in the hearing realm. But whatever the board,
Because my theory, and if we Jay's suggesting or as Jay noted, if we would let him withdraw the petition, potentially opens himself up for litigation with somebody suing for a denied building permit, which would stand. It's probably not a good thing to have on the record. Maybe Carissa can correct it, and then it's a moot point. Or if we do need to have the hearing to approve the denial, because I do think that is confusing. If I was buying a house, I don't think I'd want to have a zoning permit denial. So I guess I'm inclined to extend, see if the attorney or the Carissa send us something to approve, or at that point we can allow the withdrawal if they don't care to correct the action. Does that make sense to Jennifer and Christine?
I have all the paperwork here if that's what you need. I took all the paperwork from Carissa today.
Well, no, the problem is that she issued a denial and you then appeal that denial, but now basically you're not really, there is no denial anymore. But for the record purposes, because you've filed paperwork with the zoning board of appeals, we have to act on that. And if we, I guess that it would make sense if she is now issued the zoning permit that he needed correctly, or she intends to do so. I would think that we would take no action on his appeal, and that would just leave it all approved. Because if we took action, you know what I'm saying? There is no appeal to take action on. So I think we just have to extend for a little bit to get some clarification, as Kick mentioned, from either, I think it was Attorney Sharp or Clarissa, in terms of, let's see what she actually issues.
Yeah, if maybe I can ask Carissa if she'll just initial that denied zoning permit approved, and that would kind of make.
And
the
there's
whole
nothing
thing-
to appeal, so we can, at that
Right.
point, the withdrawal wouldn't affect him, right?
Right.
So I guess I'll make a, I guess we technically, since we have a public hearing, we do have to close the public hearing, right? No, we don't, we're gonna continue it, so that, I'll make a motion to continue the public hearing. We haven't discussed when our next meeting will be. We do have one to accept this evening. Do we want to schedule that for, what would that be, January 26th? Or do we want to do the first week of February?
Well, you've been doing the first Wednesday, so.
So you want to do February 2nd? Does that work for Jennifer and Christine?
It does.
I'll make a motion to continue the public hearing to February 2nd, 2022. Hopefully at that point in time, either we can, the permits will, the zoning, the appeal will have resolved itself in the fact that there's nothing to appeal, or we'll have further clarification. Do I hear a second? Christine?
I second.
All those in favor, Chairperson Kick Sullivan, aye. Christine
Aye.
and Jennifer.
Aye.
Okay, so that carries. Mr. Shokoff, just for the record, so we continued it so that hopefully if Carissa issues the permits, there shouldn't be anything to appeal. If there's some sort of clarification, your attorney can present us with whatever needs to be clarified or whatever further relief you would need if there is something to be appealed, but it sounds like everything's on the right track.
Can I present myself?
Yeah, sure. No, it doesn't have to be your attorney. Yes.
Okay.
All righty. Enjoy your evening. We're going to move on with the rest of our agenda. So you can step aside and we're going to pick up the other matters. With
Thank
that,
you very much.
take them just as they come. So that would be the request for an extension for dimensional special permit for 25 Tiffany Circle. If the petitioner could just state their name for the record, fill us in on what's going on, and we'll have a discussion.
Sure. My name is Bob Goyette, 25 Tiffany Circle. My wife and I, on 2014 in September, were granted a special permit, dimensional special permit, rear yard dimension for an addition. Life, 2 in college. And now we're back again and ready to do it.
Gotcha. And so the permit was issued and you did some work, it just wasn't finished. And so Carissa, the building department inspector, is now saying that the permit wasn't exercised because not enough work was done. Is that correct?
Yes, she said, so within the timeline, Ms. Sullivan, exactly, yes.
Okay. I mean, so you have 2 years to exercise the permit, and then Jay, once you exercise the permit, how long after that do you have to complete? Is there a time frame on the completion? I thought it was just on the exercise.
Yeah, it's on the exercise, so.
Carissa's deeming that the permit wasn't exercised at all.
I
No,
guess-
she deemed that she didn't want to, she wanted to kick it to you guys so that it was 100% crystal clear.
Fair enough. Seemed pretty straightforward to me. Obviously, we made the decision that was rendered. I believe it myself. I guess just myself was on the board at that time. It was a pretty easy decision. I have no problem extending it. I don't really have any questions or concerns for the petitioner. Other than how long I think we need to put a new date in place for the lapse period for the permit. How long do you expect the project to take?
I would think if you give me a year, it will be well within, inside of that.
Okay, yeah.
And again, that's just to actually pull out the building permit, not necessarily complete it, but.
Right. That's what I was just gonna say.
So a month.
I'm fine with a year. I mean, so I'd like to reduce my workload. So I like you, Bob, but I don't like you that much. So I'm fine with extending a year. I think that makes sense. Does Christina or Jennifer really have any questions or concerns for the petitioner? Because
And
this
that's
is
just a year
administrative.
for him to pull a permit. That's
Go
just
ahead.
1 year for him to pull a permit, correct?
Yes.
Yep.
Like
Yep,
re-poll.
sounds good.
Jennifer.
No,
Yeah, that's not fine by me.
Okay, I'll make a motion to extend the relief previously granted in 2016, or relief previously granted, leave that blank, for, for 1 year. I think that's all that's needed. Jay, do you need any further clarification for us? No. I'll make a motion to extend for a year on 25 Tiffany Circle. I don't think that a public hearing is warranted. Do I hear a second?
second,
Christine, all those in favor, Chairperson Sullivan, aye. Christine
aye.
and Jennifer.
Aye.
So that carries. You're all set, Mr. Goyette.
Thank
Best
you
of
very
luck.
much.
And we'll move on to the next item on our agenda. That's for another extension for reconstruction at 85 Mechanic Street. If the petitioner could just state their name for the record. I know they are here, and then just fill us in on the reason required for the extension.
Alex Popov,
You reside at 85 Mechanic Street. Just save me your address too, if you could.
Alex Popov, 85 Mechanic Street.
Okay. So you're this one, I'm just trying to get my facts straight. When was this permit granted? Or when was this relief granted?
February 2019.
Okay. So,
It's even 18.
and then
or
it was extended, correct?
it
No.
wasn't extended.
That was extended from 2 years to 3 years. Is that correct, Jay?
Not specifically, since then, all special permits have been extended to 3 years, but all the older ones state in them 2 years. So we take that to be a condition. If it hadn't said that, then yeah, it'd be fine with the 3 years from the ordinance change. And then there was the COVID pause for about a year. So I think a permit is still good just due to that, but
Yeah,
fine.
rather not take a chance. Given all those, I think it's reasonable to extend. Mr. Popov, would a year extension work for you?
Yes, correct. Thank you. Yes.
Okay. Does the Christine or Jennifer have any other further questions for the petitioner?
I have
No.
nothing.
Okay, I'll make a
Sure.
motion to extend the relief on 85 Mechanic Street administratively without a public hearing for an additional year. I guess, do we have to, is that a year from today, Jay, or is that a year from, I mean, how the heck do you classify when?
I was going to ask you that question, how you want to specify.
Because it's not a clear expiration. I mean, I guess, so if you,
We should just do it a year from today.
yeah, is that Mr. Popov, would that work?
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
Okay, a year from today. Do I hear a second?
Second,
All those in favor, Chairperson Sullivan, aye. Christine
aye.
and Jennifer.
Aye.
Okay, so you're all set, Mr. Popov. Best of luck. Again, we're going to continue to move on.
Yeah, thank you.
So I believe the next item is to accept new petitions. I believe we only have one, and that is the petition for a special permit for 54 Mill Street. So this is not a public hearing. This is an informal meeting with the board members to ask clarification on the petition. Then we'll schedule the public hearing for that February 2nd date. If the petitioner could state their name for the record, the board members will ask some questions, and if we need to do anything for site visit, we'll clarify that.
Sure. This is Heidi and Jeff Fountain, 54 Mill Street here in Westfield.
Good evening. Could you just briefly run us through the reasons why you're requesting relief? It looks like side yard setback for a garage.
Yeah, side yard setback for a garage. We currently have a 1-car garage that's about 12 by 18, and I haven't been able to use in the 30 years I've been here. It doesn't have electricity. It's on an old pad, cinder block foundation, and we're looking to rebuild it a little bit larger than the existing garage and actually move it about a little over a half of a foot away from the current side setback. So right now it sits at 5.5 feet, 5.44 feet, and we're going to move it to 6 and bring it forward a little bit and make it 18 by 26 instead of 12 by 18.
Okay. And you obviously, the renderings you submitted, the construction is going to be done in general conformity with the proposed site general conformity. So that's relatively close to the renderings that you presented with the application.
Yeah, we want to make it as aesthetically consistent to the current house as it can be. So the drawings that we presented are the ones that we've already had done by the architect. And we already have our proposal from our contractor, and would like to move forward with it in the spring if we're granted a special permit and to do so.
Gotcha. Okay. Makes sense. The only thing that may help is maybe, a week, 10 days before the February 2nd date, which is the normal schedule is for a public hearing. If you could just maybe put 3 stakes at a new additional, obviously you can't put one in the back left corner, but a stake in the, on all the other kind of corners where you estimate that the garage is going to go, just so when we go out to the property, we can kind of have, a spatially idea of what we're looking at.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
Okay. I don't think I really have any other questions or concerns for the petitioner this evening. Does Jennifer or Christine?
No, I don't.
Nothing.
I would make a motion to accept the petition on 54 Mill Street and schedule for public hearing for February 2nd. I'm guessing, Jay, that's still going to be via Zoom, correct?
Well, that's up to the board.
Yeah, Jennifer and Christine, would you guys good with continuing, and I guess with this environment with
I'd prefer it if we could.
so via Zoom at 7:15 it'll be a public hearing. Do I hear a second? Christine?
Second.
All those in favor, Chairperson Sullivan, aye. Christine
Aye.
and Jennifer.
Aye.
So you are all set, Mr. Fontaine. We'll see you on February 2nd. At that point, we'll obviously have you briefly represent the project. We'll ask any questions we have maybe from the site visit. We will open up the floor if there's anybody speak before, in favor or against, and hopefully render a decision that evening for you.
Great. Thank you so much and have a nice evening.
Thank you.
You as well. And I see that there is no one else here, so I'll ask, but is there anybody else here for something other than the items that we've already worked through? Let's say no, but the record can reflect that. Did everybody review the minutes?
I did. They were fine with me.
Jennifer?
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes that Chris presented to us either yesterday or today. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Christine, all those in favor, Chairperson Kick Sullivan, aye. Christine
Aye.
and Jennifer.
Aye.
Okay. On the agenda, there's also annual election of chair. I guess I'll postpone that until Sophie is here so we can include her. Is there anything else the board would like to discuss this evening?
No.
I'm glad we worked through everything quickly. I'll make a motion to adjourn the January 5th ZBA meeting. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All those in favor, Chairperson Kick Sullivan, aye. Christine
Aye.
and Jennifer.
Aye.
All righty. Thank you very much, Jay and Chris, and we'll see you.